Let me tell you of the days of high adventure.
Hey everybody, this is John.
And I'm Kevin.
And this is 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger, the podcast where we take a long, hard look at some of our favorite action movies from the era of Arnold.
Schwarzenegger is the icon of the genre, and we're taking a deep dive into some of these 80s and 90s cult action movies and breaking them all the way down.
Brother to brother. Brother to brother. One to another. Like no other. Brother to brother. Brother to brother. Never knew you existed.
What is up, my friend? Hello, everyone.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm so excited about what's sitting in front of me right now.
Well, before we get into that, I just want to say hello to all of our faithful listeners and anyone that's joining us for the first time. We hope that you've enjoyed our first episode of Twins. And speaking of first times and twins, this is a little bit of a special first time for Kevin. We're about to
Clarify.
yeah. So in front of us on this little table where we're recording in Kevin's solarium,
It's my salon.
salon, are twin pourings of a little something called Blanton's, which if you're not familiar with it, it's because you can't find it anymore. It's so hard to find.
I've seen it. I've never seen it in person before.
So we are about to have Kevin's first ever sip of Blanton's to kick off this part 2 in our series on Twins, the Schwarzenegger 1988 classic. Here's to Arnold, to DeVito, to 6 Degrees of Schwarzenegger. Here's to you, buddy. That's good.
That's good stuff.
How do you feeling? Complex.
I feel excellent. Yeah. It's got lingering heat.
Mm.
To quote Kurt Sloan, it's hot. That's excellent stuff.
Yeah.
I need some more over rocks.
It is. Yeah, I added just a little splash, not even a splash, just a drop of water, and it did a lot to open it up, release the flavors. And I think it's just the perfect way to start episode 2 in our Twin series.
Hell yes.
Oh, hell yeah.
Stone Cold is wandering through.
I'm ready to talk twins.
It's amazing. That is good stuff. You found it by stalking the internet.
I did. I stalked a Facebook group that Kevin and I are members of on the Facebook, interestingly enough. And it's a bunch of alcoholics like us, or like me.
Looking for the hard to find stuff.
Yeah, looking for the hard to find things. And so, yeah, there's a place over off of Briarcliff that had this. And so I hadn't had it in a while because, like I said, you can't find it anymore.
John Wick had it in a John Wick movie, maybe the first one, and then it became the Holy Grail.
Yeah, I remember a lady, she was a donor to Kentucky Opera, and like at a bourbon tasting one time over at her place, she was telling a bunch of us, she was like, if you see Blanton's, buy more than one because it's about to become impossible to find. So I guess her ear was to the ground, and this was back in 2013. So
in Kentucky, is it easier to find these bottles?
I would imagine probably just because they're a little more ubiquitous.
There was some woman I was talking to, and she said it's just easy to find Blanton's like in Idaho or Montana or something when she'd be out there for work. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it makes sense because
that doesn't do me a whole lot of good, but I guess, yeah. Okay.
I would imagine that there are fewer bourbon aficionados or alcohol aficionados per capita in places like
Mormon
Montana.
Country?
And where?
Could be Mormon country.
Yeah, you can definitely find it in Salt Lake City.
Yep.
Unless the Mormons are stockpiling it and not telling you.
Be.
They're giving into their vices.
That was a good sip.
It's excellent. It's just lived up to the memory of it being so excellent.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
May I have some more? Or should I pour something else?
No, of course you can have some more. I'm going to let you be in charge of pouring it.
I am going to pour not the heaviest, of course. course.
Well, yeah. If you can find Blanton's, go find it. If you can't, it's not a surprise. Don't be sad.
Thank you, good buddy.
You're welcome, my friend.
Well, that's what friends are for.
Absolutely. All right, I guess we'll talk turkey, and by turkey, I mean twins.
What?
What even happened in the last episode?
I'm blackout.
So in the last episode, we are introduced to Julius, who is a superhuman who was created in a lab in the early 50s by the U.S. government. He was created and lived on a desert island until his mid-30s with a scientist. Mm-hmm. And then the scientist broke the news that, oh, hey, it wasn't just you. You had a twin brother. And we gave him to an orphanage.
A conspicuously German scientist.
He's a Nazi.
I in my heart of hearts, I feel like they cast him or had that actor do a German accent just to try to explain away Arnold's accent.
That makes sense.
More so than
that?
But yeah, it doesn't. The optics aren't great.
No, he's a Nazi.
100.
Definitely a Nazi.
It's the only possible.
So as this news is revealed, Julius, feeling a sixth sense, feels somehow that his brother Vincent is under duress and travels around the world from his tropical island to find Vincent, who's a real shitbag in L.A., played by Danny DeVito. We also meet DeVito's off and on girlfriend Linda and her sister Marnie, as well as we find out the fact that Vincent owes $20,000 to some loan sharks, and that he has a lot of different jobs, including hawking stolen cars and selling socks. And when he gets landed in jail, Julius finds him after visiting the orphanage where he escaped as a child, from which he escaped.
Jesus,
and literally,
if it's dark.
Yeah.
If you didn't like. If the movie wasn't a comedy, it's very dark.
Yeah, it definitely is. And so Julius ends up breaking his brother, and by that we mean bailing him out of jail. Mm-hmm. And to show Julius thanks, he ditches him in the parking lot.
He does. He leaves him in the impound lot.
And so that gets us caught up on part one.
Yeah.
And brings us into part two.
At the we'll pick up at the airport parking lot. There's a couple of shady-looking characters. They drive off in like a brand new shiny Cadillac.
Coupe de Ville sedan. Coupe sedan de Ville, he says.
Coupe de Ville. Yeah. Fucking Caruso. David Caruso's like chewing the scenery as Al.
Yep.
He compliments the car. He comments on their Hawaiian shirts and sunglasses. I love it, yeah.
Where you going? Out to Hawaii? Gonna catch some of them big waves?
It's like they're both wearing driving gloves. It's all very like they don't look inconspicuous.
Right. I feel like they
stick out like a sore thumb.
Definitely. And they're not talkative.
Yeah, they sort of snatch the ticket away from him. He directs them up to park on level 4. Now they pull in as ominous music plays. The men pop a tape into the tape deck. They get out of their car, they wipe it down, and they arm the car with the car alarm, and they leave it there.
Yeah, we get the feeling that something illegal, some illicit activities just happened.
So we got Vincent entering an office building on Hollywood Boulevard, it looked like. He exits an elevator. Seems to be having been macking on like a woman in the elevator. He's also shaving
naturally.
again with his electric razor.
He's out of jail.
He is saying something about like, well, I'll call you Saturday or something like that. Or, yeah, why not? I'll call you. So he pops out. There's some guys carrying furniture like through the lobby.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, where are you taking my desk? And they tell him he's 6 months behind on his payments on the furniture and they're repossessing it.
Yep.
Now he walks into his office, which is marked Vincent Benedict Incorporated.
Jesus.
Sports agent, artist's representative, import-export, automobile sales, rental leasing, wholesale patio furniture.
Should have said socks at the bottom.
I love that.
He has a lot of jobs.
He really does. He's got a secretary there in the office. She's telling him.
Yeah, Miss Busby.
She tried to stop the guys from taking the furniture. Vincent tells her not to worry about it.
I love the state of disarray of the office. Is like everything's laying in the floor.
Oh my god, yeah,
it's awesome.
It's full of like his office is full of sporting goods, equipment, and like photographs of athletes and stuff like that.
I love it.
The phone rings as Vincent walks into his office. right? He picks up a golf club and he just starts fucking wrecking the place. He smashes this basketball
Let
and
off some steam.
starts knocking papers around and whatnot. So Mrs. Busby or Miss Busby tells Vincent that it's Al on the phone, and Vincent hustles over. He tells her to take a little time off work. He'll call her when they've had a chance to regroup.
Right.
She agrees. She's going to leave, and then she produces this birthday gift from her purse, gives it to Vincent. It's some Aqua Velva aftershave.
She shouldn't have.
It's like, Aqua Velva, you shouldn't have. They have a very awkward kiss.
Yeah.
But I mean, because he's way shorter, obviously. Than
Right.
her.
But like it's a romantic. It's not like a kiss on the cheek to your secretary or administrative assistant. It's a very like he plants one on her.
Do you get the impression that they've done the deed before?
I don't know, or if it's just maybe he knows that she's into him. That's the thing is like women are inexplicably into him. He's got animal charisma.
Mm-hmm.
No one knows, and so like maybe just like to keep her on the payroll until he can figure out what to do financially. You know what I mean?
Maybe one of the 6 dads was like a great Lothario.
Probably, because you got to perpetuate that species, baby.
Mm-hmm. Miss Busby leaves. Vincent tosses that aftershave right in the trash
Oh, it's so mean.
and greets Al. He says, Al, save me. Al says, brand new Caddy on level 4. And Vincent's like, from heaven.
Immediately.
I'll be there. Don't move.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's the good timing with a little pep in his step. Vincent leaves the office, but is thrown back through the glass door. This was like a Texas switch, I think, but it was really good because you see like his frosted glass.
Yeah.
You see him in his dark blazer sort of reaching the edge of the vision.
Yep.
And then I feel like another stuntman was sort of pushed into that same spot and ran
for
through
sure.
where it looked like
It was
looked pretty good.
It was a good stunt.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say that was not DeVito that went through the glass.
You never know.
That'd be quite the gig, though, to be the stuntman who could double DeVito.
Well, that's what I was thinking in the first episode when we first meet Vincent when he's escaping from the house of the woman that he's banging, and like that stuntman. I was like, they did a great job of finding a short-statured,
Short, stocky-ish guy.
Yeah. That I mean, I would have sworn that was DeVito. I mean, you never see the guy's face, of course, but I was like, yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Now, this huge man comes through and he picks Vincent up off the ground, says, "Time's up, Vincent." And he sort of flings him back through the door out into the lobby. Vincent's like trying his best. He's
You're like kicking the shit out of Vincent for sure.
"Did you hit me? Because I didn't feel a thing." And the guy gut punches him. All that stuff felt like improv to me, I think. He's sort of roughened Vincent up right as Julius arrives.
Thank God.
Julius grabs the guy, I guess, by like a pressure point in his
Like
shoulder or something.
that Vulcan death grip or whatever
He
the
sort
hell.
of grabs him on the shoulder, and the dude just sort of crumples.
Yeah.
Julius tells him there's no need for violence, and then Vincent
Kicks him in the stomach.
Julius lets him go, and the guy, he tries to hit him. Julius, as we saw earlier, he's got some martial arts skills. It seems like he's just fending these blows off.
Yeah, this guy's nothing.
He sort of grabs his arm and flips him over. The guy tries to kick Julius. Julius sort of blocks it and strikes him in the chest, knocks him to the ground. And that's when Vincent steps in. A little chest pain. I love all of this feels improv to me. They're like just
everything DeVito was doing was ad-libbed.
I'm loving
For a lot of this movie, I feel like is probably true.
Now, Julius starts to tell him that about the first rule in a crisis situation. He tells him you negotiate first and you attack last. And then, he's telling him, you skip that. You don't know who I am. The dude wants...
Who are you?
Who are you? I'm Vincent's brother.
I love he just like pops into frame.
Slides
Like,
in.
we're twins.
It's great.
It's awesome.
It's amazing timing.
Yeah.
Amazing timing. Maybe the best timed line in the movie, I thought, as I was watching it. Like, it makes me laugh. We're twins.
I didn't watch the trailer, but I guarantee that line's in the trailer.
For sure.
Yeah.
Then the guy, he goes to the wall, he plucks the fire axe off the wall because apparently, I don't think I've ever been in a place where I've seen an axe on the wall.
I have never been in a building where a fire axe was in a box or hanging on a wall readily available for use.
This is 2 straight movies that we've done where there's just been a convenient fire axe after The Rock.
Yep.
In The Rock, it was like a prison, and they had an axe just hanging on a wall.
I guess you have to assume that no prisoners were up on that lighthouse.
They
but
shouldn't
anyway,
have been. Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, ever. I've seen those cabinets with hoses wrapped up in coiled up in them, but never a fucking axe.
You had like the little like hammer and you break
seen
the
the hammer,
glass and
seen
it's
the
like break this
hammer.
glass and pull the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, ridiculous. But so this dude comes at Julius with the axe. Julius remarks that the guy has no respect for logic, and then Julius he's angry. So he just he disarms the dude. He picks him up off the ground by the lapels.
Yep.
This guy's easily meant to be at least Schwarzenegger's size and weight.
Or bigger.
Yeah, maybe heavier for sure.
Bigger.
He throws him. He flings him through the air into the elevator.
Yeah,
Is that real?
No.
I don't know.
Don't know like how they filmed it.
I feel like the guy maybe was standing on something, and so Arnold didn't have to be holding him up in the air, and then just shoved him and upwards and outwards as hard as he could. And it could have happened. Because I looked hard for like a wire, or if he might have been on some sort of platform that sprung him backwards or something like that. But I saw no indication.
The fact that he got as much air as he did, I was like, it doesn't seem like a wire could pick him up without being able to see it.
Yeah, like it would have been visible, I think.
But I don't think that Arnold could have thrown him hard enough for him to get that kind of air and like slam against the back of the elevator. So
whatever it was,
we're not sure how that stunt was done, but it looks fucking awesome.
From Julius Benedict.
That's right. That's a feat of strength.
Yeah, I don't know. And DeVito gave this look.
That was the third feat of
wonderment.
Yeah,
it made me think that maybe Danny DeVito could not believe what he'd just seen happen.
You tell your brother he messes with me, he messes with my whole family.
Another amazing line. I like how tough he is when he's got Julius there.
Oh, it's awesome.
So it cuts to out on the street. Vincent is praising Julius. Like, oh, I love it when you hit people. And kind of a meta line, right? Julius is like, oh, I hate violence.
Yeah.
It's like so funny coming from Schwarzenegger's lips. Yeah. Vincent's like, but you're so good at it.
It's so good.
Dude, their chemistry is off the chain.
Yeah. Then
he's like saying, we should go into business. You could be a boxer. I could be your manager. And he's like, I couldn't fight for money. He's like, no problem. You do all the fighting. I'll keep all the money.
It's good writing.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Julius presses him, I guess, to know how much money do you owe these guys?
Yeah.
Whatever. Vincent doesn't seem to want to tell him. He says, now don't lie to me because I'll know. We're twins and I can feel your pain.
Right.
So it's kind of strange, but it's also the truth. Because Vincent gets sort of ticked off and he's like, we're not brothers, we're not twins, we're nothing. And then Julius is like, 20,000, which is like, yep, spot on.
Yeah.
I guess Vincent would not be able to deny, I think there seems to be some type of connection here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so far it's a lot of coincidences. I'm still wondering, how did Julius find Vincent at that office?
Yeah. I mean,
I
guess he would have had an address, which ought to have been the first place he went to look for him. Maybe he did and he just wasn't, that was a cut scene.
Maybe.
So Vincent hops in his illegally parked car.
With another ticket.
Another ticket in the windshield, for sure. Julius looks like he's prepared for Vincent to ditch him again.
Yep.
And then Vincent tells him...
Julius is so nice.
Vincent's like, come on! And he gets a big grin on his face. He hops in the car. Julius tells Vincent he's never going to let anyone hurt him as long as he's around.
It's so sweet.
Vincent tears ass out of there. To the delight of Julius.
Oh, yeah.
He's squealing. So... we were watching this the other day, and I had a theory, because DeVito, he puts on this hat. I was like, why is he wearing a hat? Later, when Schwarzenegger's driving the car, he's wearing the same hat.
Right.
And my only thing I could think of was that it makes it where the stunt driver doesn't have to be, wigged or have a bald cap on or whatever. Because I was like, there's no way that was DeVito tearing, burning rubber through the intersection.
No.
Did he run a red light, or was it green?
I feel like I've tried to look, but I don't think you can tell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now they're driving along. Vincent is telling Julius that he promised his friend Sammy that he was going to pick up this car that he's got parked at the airport. He asked Julius, would you be able to drive my car back after we get this other car?
I love this bit.
With the manual?
Yeah, I love the bit with the manual.
Julius is like, yeah, sure. Then he asks if he's got an owner's manual. And he's like, Yeah, in the glove box there. And he's like, oh, right. He's like starts speed reading the manual.
It's amazing.
He's just dragging his finger down like each page. When he's like,
what are you doing with your finger there?
what do you do with the finger there? It's like, I don't need to drive. He's like, whoa. It is. That's one of my favorite things, especially that line. What are you doing with the finger there?
DeVito, he brings it.
So they arrive at Al's parking deck. Vincent is like pretending to look for a hidden key.
He's putting on a show of the keys not being
He's like,
there.
surely it's behind the tire or it's up in the wheel well or whatever. He's like, he usually leaves the key here. Then he tells Julius, like, oh, you must have forgotten to leave the key, but a lot of handicapped children are going to be very disappointed. What a dirtbag.
He's a bastard.
I like
literally.
Vincent's like, what do you mean? And he tells him, well, this car was going to be auctioned off at this charity drive tomorrow. He's like, oh, well, let's go get something to eat.
Beautiful.
He's like, he plays it so well.
Yeah, but I wondered about this is like, why could Julius not tell that Vincent was being deceptive here?
Is he so innocent that he just doesn't believe that anyone would lie? That he trusts everyone, it seems like.
Yeah.
Like, he was real nice to the Klein brother.
That's true. He gave him the benefit of the doubt.
In mid-violence, he was like, let's talk about this.
That's true.
Yeah, that's what I chalk
I'm just
up
saying
to.
it's
But he
like-
has the mental connection.
That's right. He's got the sixth sense, that clairvoyance with Vincent, seemingly. But maybe I don't know.
I don't know. Anyway, he buys it. He suggests to Vincent, maybe we should just try to open the car up ourselves. He's like, geez, do you really think we should do that?
It's for children.
Well, you got a point. So he produces this like Slim Jim or lock picking device. He's like, I saw a guy from the Auto Club do this once. And he's just like pops that lock right open. He's like, oh, beginner's lock?
That's amazing.
Yeah, totally. Now the Cadillac's alarm starts going off.
Right.
And Vincent like scurries down underneath the dashboard, like looking to whatever disconnects something, I guess. Julius, he moves to the rear of the car and just fucking lifts the thing.
We got our
deadlifts
fourth
it.
feat of strength.
He lifts that thing up off the ground. He's groaning, whatever. The alarm cuts off.
We get some great Arnold faces during the lift of that car.
He has good grunting, probably.
It's impressive. Do we think he really probably didn't pick up the end of that car for real?
If he did, then it must have been like a prop car where it was just the shell of a car, or something like this. Because I don't think that we have to wonder. Like, we think that Julius is like a Superman, right?
Yes.
He's not.
Confirmed.
He's not as strong as Schwarzenegger. He's like 20 times as strong as Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Like he's like Captain America, like you said. Like he's beyond.
He is beyond superhuman. Like he is superhuman strength.
Okay. So, yeah, he tells Julius tells Vincent, he's like, if you lift the car's rear end to an angle greater than 45 degrees, then the mercury switch in the alarm thinks that the car is being towed away and it cuts off.
Okay.
Yeah, Vincent's just like sort of soaking it all in. We could also agree that he lifted it nowhere close to 45 degrees, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why they wouldn't just change the script to say 20 degrees or 30 degrees, whatever.
Maybe because 45 is the
it
deal.
sounds better. People know what that means, perhaps.
Or maybe that's actually true.
That could be.
Yeah, I don't
Even
know.
a car that's on the back of a tow truck, I don't feel like is at a 45-degree angle.
Yeah, I don't know.
At any rate, Julius asks Vincent for the keys to the Mustang, and in like sort of a daze, Vincent produces the keys and hands them over there.
Yeah.
Now, they're driving out. Vincent sort of gives Al a little, the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Thanks. Beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's a beautiful day.
Yes.
Yeah. Julius is like struggling to drive the Mustang. It's all very herky-jerky, like a lot of tires screeching.
Yeah.
Vincent tells him, step on it. And Julius, he floors it and then like screeches to a stop beside Vincent. But I mean,
I love that. I'm amazed how well it's going. It's such a great line.
a 5.0 Mustang would be a lot of car to handle for someone who's never driven before.
Agreed.
That's a lot. It does seem to be an automatic at least.
Yeah.
So
There's no gear shifting involved. Otherwise, he'd be fucked.
I like Vincent telling him like just use 1 foot at a time.
1 foot. Okay, I will do it.
He seems like he just tore off. He wasn't even looking like if it was a red light or what.
Yeah, it was sort of a similar situation when he peeled out earlier. We didn't know if Vincent ran a light. Didn't know if Julius ran a light there.
Anyway, Julius has left Vincent in his dust. Vincent, back in the Cadillac, he picks up the car phone.
This part is great.
Well, it's one of those blasts from the past that you love. Also.
The old school car phones.
Old technology. I mean, Vincent is begging to get caught. He's like making calls from the stolen car. He's calling his own personal car from the stolen car. Like, he's not going to get away with this.
No. God, I didn't even think about that, but yeah.
He's like leaving a huge trail.
Idiot.
Now, Julius hears the car phone ring. I feel like it's almost like another psychic moment where he sort of figures out what he needs to do, because I think they cut to Vincent and he's in his car and he's like, pick up the phone, the little thing making the noise, and then it seems to click for Julius. He picks that thing up. They get to talking a little bit.
This is Vincent's car. Can I help you, please?
Vincent's got like all the fucking luxuries, man, for a dude who seems to be broke.
Mm-hmm.
He's like got a nice car with the car phone. He's got an office on Hollywood Boulevard, a house we haven't seen yet.
Say, we're going to see his house later, and it's
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the. He's like, hey, it's me,
Vincent. Where are you?
He's like, I'm this little. He's looking in the rearview mirror. You see that little dot, and I like what are you doing back there?
The conversation is so endearing.
Oh, what are you doing back there?
He's just like geeking out. It's like the best day ever for Julius.
He's like a puppy dog. It's like every day is the best day that he's ever had. Vincent tells him, he's like, we're going to pull into the supermarket. It's going to be coming up, on your right. He gets to the supermarket. He's like, oh, there it is. He just jerks the wheel.
Cuts the wheel as hard as you can.
He hits a curb.
Yeah, hit like a parking barrier or something.
It pops up on two wheels.
God, it's so
like riding on not like the two rear wheels, but like the two right side wheels.
Yeah, the two passenger side wheels.
Left side wheels, whatever it is. Yeah, passenger side.
Where he is up in the air.
Dude, first of all, when I was a kid, I used to love this shit.
Yeah, the car sounds like that are amazing. Yeah.
There used to be, I feel like there would be competitions like on ESPN back in the day with people doing this, like competitively. I don't even know how you score that, who can go the farthest or who's got the most style points. I don't know.
I can't remember but I remember they would like hit whatever a
ramp or something.
It was like a ramp that kicked the car up on two wheels.
Yeah. It's amazing. What would happen if you saw this happening in real life? In the parking lot at Kroger.
Well, now you'd run after it trying to get it on your cell phone.
I just feel like it would, all activity in the parking lot would stop.
Yeah, everyone would lose their minds.
It isn't fucking nuts. Like, I would lose my shit for sure.
Well, and I don't know if they did it, like, if the people around were extras or if they were just, like, people at the grocery store standing around, but, like, all the people in the parking lot that are watching this stunt happen seem to be genuinely, like, impressed by it.
I feel like they would have had to have been extras, but I think that's just the natural reaction.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Julius seems to plop the car down like in a parking spot.
Well, he's like, if I did that by accident, I would soil myself. But he's loving it. But I also feel like if you're Superman, then he's just like, oh, this is great.
He is delighted.
I know how to do this preternaturally. Like, I never have to worry about anything.
I love that moment afterwards where Vincent pulls up next to him and he's like, did you see me with the two wheels? I can teach you that, Vincent.
It's so awesome.
That's amazing to me.
Yeah.
It's like, let me tell you something. Nobody likes a smart ass. But, dude, I love the delivery from Arnold. I can teach you that. No, he can't. What?
I bet he could now. It's like he's done it once. He absolutely knows how now.
Okay, that's fair.
That's the thing is I feel like Arnold, he's sort of like Neo in the Matrix. It's like he's done the thing one time and now he's a master.
He did. He sort of like downloaded the
he downloaded the manual. So fucking good.
Now inside the supermarket, Linda and Marnie are shopping.
He just happened to be there
and smoking.
That's the blast from the past for this whole part that like gets me is like people smoking in places, just like walking down the bakery aisle, the baked goods aisle, like getting your devil's food or angel's food cake and just smoking a cigarette.
I get the impression this can't be a coincidence. I feel like there must be a plan. Vincent must have been like, I'll meet you at the grocery store or something. I don't see how this is a coincidence. It'd have to be the smallest world ever.
I think it's a coincidence because he was just there to get groceries for him and Julius to have dinner.
I guess so. That's a coincidence of coincidences.
Yeah.
But I'm into it.
Yeah.
This is not that type of movie.
No.
So
No. What a time. Anyway, to be
like-
smoking in the grocery store.
Linda is like trying to explain why she's into Vincent, why he's actually a good guy. She sounds fucking delusional.
Well, she's talking about him having like he's suave and
She's like he's a force of nature.
that he's just
DeVito.
that it's all about style with him. She says.
I guess it is. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't argue with the
No.
results.
No.
Marnie is very skeptical. She points out that he, all those lines he uses on her, they're just old song lyrics.
Yeah.
Linda seems like she's like, I know that. You don't think I know that? That's just his style.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like even if he doesn't know that he means it, he means it. He's a truly romantic soul.
Yeah. Marnie is like, I can't listen to it anymore, and she like walks off.
Yeah, Linda's like muttering after her.
I like.
She
She's
needs to
like,
get
well,
laid.
don't, because if you had a boyfriend like I have, you'd make a cake like this, and he'd love you, and you'd get laid.
Imagine a world in which Marnie is struggling to find love.
I think it's
I need to
probably
put myself there.
I think it's probably because Marnie. I don't think Marnie puts up with bullshit.
Yeah. Do you think it's that, or do you think she's like really high maintenance?
I feel like she doesn't put up with bullshit.
I hope it's that.
Well, the thing that cues me into that is the very next thing that happens, because we find Julius at the magazine rack, and the most impossible thing that's ever happened happens, where he just picks up an unwrapped Playboy off the magazine rack.
Was there ever a day that Playboy was just sitting on the rack like that?
Not in a grocery store, and if it was, it
fucking
would have been in
California.
it would in a that's
I don't know. Maybe
fucking
in California.
California. It would have been in a plastic bag.
True, without the
Yeah.
blacked out bag or
So
whatever.
yeah, he like turns around as he's looking at the centerfold, and he bumps into Marnie, and he drops the mag, and there's immediately like this eye contact, and they're like, and he's like, "Excuse me." They both say it, and there's this immediate chemistry. But I love what clues me into what I was just saying about Marnie is that she knows he was just looking at porn, and she says she's not bad. Like she doesn't bust his balls about it or think it's gross. She's just
Yeah.
like, this guy's looking at porn, and like I just think that Marnie's sort of worldly wise and down to earth, and that's not to say that it's like, guys, go look at porn, it's cool, and it's only cool if a girl's cool with her guy looking at porn. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's like she's a good sport about, she's like,
Give me 5 minutes. I'm gonna go look at some porn right now. No, he awkwardly sort of picks up the magazine. He's trying to explain like that he didn't know that the magazines had things like this in them.
Right.
And then she's like, "Well, where have you been? A deserted island?" He goes into like this spiel of his journey.
It just so happens.
He's like, "I love that." Yeah, he's got that like speech is always locked and loaded. I think he used it on he used it in the prison or the jail. Yep. He used it at that dude on the street who was trying to rob him. He's like, I come from a tropical island 300 nautical miles southwest of Fiji.
He's not a great storyteller.
Yeah, we got Vincent sort of overlooking this and like rolling his eyes. And he's like, I've only been in L.A. for a couple of days and I've already found my brother.
It's funny that Vincent doesn't even seem like surprised that he's talking
to Marnie.
To your point earlier about like what if he knew they were there, but I think it's just that he's more like bemused by the situation. He's like, oh, of course,
he's macking
of
on
course,
Marnie.
Yeah.
So yeah, he says like, this is my twin brother Vincent. She turns around and like Marnie is just in shock.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, I don't even know how a person should react if that situation. That you're like, you're not twins. Like what? No,
there's such a thing as
this
fraternal
guy.
twins, though.
There is, but she knows Vincent.
Yeah.
Like,
well, then Linda arrives
weird.
and she's like, I didn't know you had a brother, and he's like, me either. It's like,
how about Vincent's line? You look gorgeous in this light. the fluorescent light at the grocery store.
No one has ever looked good in grocery store light.
I loved that.
It's just good.
It's like he's just a non-stop like game spitter.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, I was into it.
It's very funny.
Julius is like ridiculously excited that
sisters
that Marnie and Linda are sisters. And Marnie, justifiably, still in shock. She's like, twins? Yeah.
Marnie and Julius, may I say, are absolutely frothing for each other. They are worked into a vigorous lather.
So now, out in the parking lot, Vincent seems to be sort of like low-key explaining to the girls that Julius, he's like harmless. He just, he latched on to me.
He just
I'm
came
looking
into
out
town.
for him.
Yeah.
The implication seems to be that Vincent is not
He's
a
not
believer.
sold.
He doesn't
Yeah.
believe that they're actually brothers or twins or anything of that nature.
Agreed.
Vincent makes the smooth getaway. He's always he's a smooth talker. He's like, well, catch you later. It's nuts. And then Julius tries to mimic that, but he's got the Mustang in reverse and goes squealing off backwards.
I've only been driving an hour.
Yeah, he comes back. Dude, I read a thing where this speaks to Arnold's work ethic. That he hooked up with Milton Berle before this movie, he wanted to work with a comedian, work on his comedy timing.
Oh,
And I feel like
that's amazing.
it shows in a scene like this, where it's just everything about it is so,
Totally.
pitch perfect the way he did it. Yeah.
Totally.
I love Arnold's dedication, though.
I do too.
He's if I'm going to do a comedy, I'm going to do it the very best I can.
Again, life lessons to be learned from Arnold. When you have millions of dollars, go find the best person you can find to do a thing to teach you how to do that thing.
Yeah.
Now go do it. All of you.
So, back at Vincent's house, they're unloading the groceries.
Yeah.
Vincent's house is straight up nice.
How much did you say it's worth now?
So I did a little Google stalking, a Zillow stalking. That house where they filmed, which I should say has been renovated, it's a $4 million house now in Santa Monica. But they put a second story on the house.
Jesus.
It's now got a second story. So
I feel like it was big then, though.
It was big
at
for
least
one dude.
2 or 3 bedroom, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I would think the size it was then, it would probably been at least half of what it costs now. So
Yeah, that house
if that's
was
a $2 million
$1
house,
yeah.
maybe back in the 80s it might have been $1 million. It was still $1 million house, I gotta think.
Just because of the real estate.
Being in Santa Monica,
Yeah,
hell
yeah.
yeah. Julius is asking Vincent if Linda is his girlfriend.
Yeah, kind of.
He's like, is Monty your girlfriend too? It's just, that's a strange thing.
Does Julius not know how relationships work? But
I think
also,
he kind of doesn't.
but also, it might just be because because in a lot of cultures, people do have more than one partner.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We don't know how the fuck it was going down. We don't
Julius
know
is very
Werner,
liberal-minded.
How many wives did Werner have on the island?
He was definitely having sex with Moo Moo Lady.
And then whoever else might have been there.
He may have been
Sure.
having sex with Karate
Karate
Guy.
man, karate teacher,
Any
sensei.
number of one of
Whoever else might be there.
Any one of a number of interns.
Any
Who knows?
castaways who watch them on the island? Do you think they were hunting people for sport on that island? Werner was.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Covering himself with blood and going out at night.
Dude,
to stab
there was definitely
people.
some Island of Dr. Moreau shit probably happening on that island. Animal, human
I don't
hybrids.
think. Well, I guess if he was hiding it from Julius, it's possible.
Shit. That'd be amazing. That should have been the sequel.
Dr.
They go back to
Werner.
the island and he discovers it's they're being hunted by
They're
these
all like otter people and seal people.
like boars, wild boars.
That's amazing.
Oh my god. So
What's this movie about? I don't know.
who? What? Twins?
Vincent says no, like Marty
Yeah.
hates me.
Yeah, but Vincent's like, but she likes you though, and he's like, well, how does she like me? She doesn't even know me. And Vincent's like, well, that's the best way. He's not entirely off base.
Yeah, he starts talking about how like women like mysterious, devious men who keep them on their toes, which is
He might be a little more off the mark there. I think the
the devious part's weird, but yeah,
But you also have to admit that he's found a system that works.
it is paying gangbusters for him. Yeah, for sure.
Julius doesn't get it. Obviously, Vincent asked Julius if you do like women. He's like, oh, I love women. I have the highest respect for women.
They're strange and sensitive. They have compassion.
Vincent hits the nail on the head. You're a virgin.
That's private.
Then he goes walking off. He's like a 230-pound virgin.
Aww.
I think when I was first watching this movie, I was so young I didn't even know what that meant. Being
Yeah,
a virgin or not. I'm like,
Yeah.
huh? Whatever. I don't know what it means, but
I wouldn't have in 1988.
It was obviously something that that Julius was like embarrassed about, Although I will say, inside the house, they're walking in and Vincent's being kind of nice about it. He's like, it's just one of those things,
Yeah,
Um,
Vincent. Yeah, he doesn't treat him like a total dirtbag about it.
No.
which is great.
I think he's realizes, if nothing else, Julius is just a genuinely nice person.
Yes, definitely.
Now, inside the house, Vincent is greeting his cat, Julius.
What?
He's apologizing for neglecting the cat.
Yeah.
Which got me wondering, how long has he been gone?
Well, I like that he
It's
says
at
that
least overnight in jail
Yeah.
the day before.
he's been gone 2 days.
Was he gone even?
He was gone the previous night at that woman's house. He hasn't been home in 2 days at least.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to look because he does seem to be wearing the same clothes,
Yeah,
basically.
he's been gone for 2 days
So
straight.
he rolled out of bed. He went to the parking. No, he rolled out of bed with that woman. He went to find Linda to hit her up for money.
Yep.
Then he went to the parking deck to steal a car. Then he went to go sell those socks.
Yep.
Got busted.
He hasn't been home in 2 days.
To jail. From jail to the office.
Yes.
To oh my god, this is getting complicated.
To the office.
Beat up.
Yes.
To go in to steal another car.
Correct.
Then to the grocery store.
2 days. He hadn't been home in 2 days.
And then, okay, so it's like, yeah, it's at least 48 hours we figure that he's been gone. Okay, so he owes that cat an apology.
Definitely. Poor little Julius. And I don't like cats, but that's sad.
Julius Benedict points out the incredible coincidence that his cat is named Julius.
Yeah, I love the look that Vince gives him, like he's never thought about it before until that moment.
That coincidence is like, that's beyond the realm of like happenstance.
Yes.
Julius is not a common name for a human or a cat.
No.
I'd also like to point out that I've been watching this movie for decades, and it wasn't until more recent viewings that I noticed that his house is just full of patio furniture.
Yeah, it was when you and I watched it over the summer that I was like, why is there so much fucking? And it never occurred to me to read his entire job title on the door earlier.
He
And I was
sells
like,
patio
why
furniture.
is there patio furniture everywhere?
I like the house is furnished with patio furniture, but it's also just stacks of chairs and umbrellas.
Well, I think I
love it.
It's a cheap way for him to make money and also not have to buy any furniture.
Yeah. No, I dig the shit out of it. It's like so clever. I can't believe I never noticed it. Is all.
I thought you were about to say, I can't believe I never thought of it. And I was like,
Furnishing.
please don't do that. This is a nice house.
So now Vincent is preparing their takeout eggplant parms. Julius is intrigued by the microwave.
Yeah.
He surely knows that microwaves exist, wouldn't you think?
They had to have had electricity of some kind on that
They
island.
surely did. I could see them not having a microwave, but I would think that he would be aware that this contraption
He knows that
exists.
automobiles and other things exist. He knows how beer was made. He knows what a microwave is.
Okay.
For sure.
I would have thought so as well.
But he still can be intrigued by it because he's never seen
You've
one
never
in
seen
practice.
one work.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
does it work? I still don't honestly know how a microwave works.
A tiny nuclear
radiation, like,
reactor
cooks shit.
inside.
I don't know, dude. Should we be wearing like a lead
I've often
apron?
thought about it. I've often been very wary of the microwave.
Yeah. How does the radiation stay inside this glass? Like, whatever.
Anyway, give them to every American. It's fine.
Well, Vincent's explaining to him, I know you're used to whatever spearing fish in the lagoon and all that,
That's
but
amazing.
here on the mainland, we just nuke it.
I love that shit. And I love all their synchronized table movements with the napkins and them moving their glasses and stuff.
I will also say Vincent's house is like a bonanza of product placement.
Yes.
Which kind of makes sense when you're unloading groceries.
Yeah.
Maybe, but there was Brawny and Pringles and Coors and Raid. It was a lot going on in the background. A winning combination, Raid and Pringles.
Yeah.
Then Vincent saying this thing that I've never heard anyone say, but Julius seems to know, or they've got the mind meld going.
Yeah.
Through the lips and over the gums.
Look out, stomach, here it comes.
It's very effective.
I love nuked food.
I love nuked food. All this is very effective in convincing us that there is some special
There's
bond.
a connection, but no shit. Anything covered in that much cheese is delicious.
Oh, yeah.
So fuck it.
I'm with him on his more cheese the merrier.
Oh, yeah. Put
Now,
cheese on any...
if there's cheese already on a thing, then more cheese would make it better. If you took a waffle and put cheese on it, or something, I could see a brownies with cheese on it.
I was about to say, I don't know. I could get down with some cheese on some brownies. We'll figure it out
We're
at a commercial break.
We're going to do the hard work.
That's right.
Research.
We're going to save you all the trouble and let you know how it is.
Now, back at the parking deck, there's ominous music playing as this mysterious man walks up. He looks very confused by the empty parking spot where the Cadillac he used to be.
Yeah, and this is our friend Marshall Bell, who would go on to be in Total Recall in a couple years with Arnie.
We saw him recently in Deadwood.
Yeah.
Great character actor from this era.
Yeah. Sort of always plays the same note of human being, but it's always effective.
We don't know who he is, but he's clearly going to be trouble for the Benedict brothers.
Just given the music and his confused look. He's sinister looking, to say the least.
Now, back at Vincent's, Julius has explained their origin to Vincent, apparently off screen.
I love all this.
Yeah, they're sitting at the patio table, like just set up in the dining room or whatever.
They outline this like one of their fathers was a pro football player, one was a Nobel Prize winner. He says, like, mom was a superwoman but didn't survive the delivery. And so it's like the whole story is very, like, you'd be incredulous to hear it.
Yeah. No, it seems like a thing that's not scientifically possible.
Yeah.
So Vincent's recapping what he's just been told in this like sarcastic way. It's like, I was sent to an orphanage while you were raised on a tropical paradise by a scientist who you do research for, but he doesn't actually pay you because you don't need money.
But again, like Julius again, like doesn't appreciate the sarcasm. He's like,
right.
It's important that we find our fathers.
We got to go find our fathers. And then that's Vincent's like, oh, you're the guys who contributed to the sperm milkshake.
Which he's not far off. It was just mixed up in a flask.
Basically, just mix it all together in a flask. Now, Vincent says, this type of story is every orphan's fantasy, but it's just a crock. He's like, my real mom and dad were rich and beautiful. And one day, there's going to be a knock at the door. And they're going to, like, he's doing this whole thing, like, oh, my darling, my treasure. We didn't know. How can you ever forgive us? And, dude, I will also say DeVito is a talented actor.
DeVito's awesome.
These scenes, I'm just like, he seems so real. Like, he's a hilarious guy, but he can also play these moments of sincerity.
Go back and watch some of those old episodes of Taxi.
Okay.
He's so good.
Is he like a jerk? He's the behind the glass guy, right?
Oh, it's like, I mean, that cast was sick, first of all. I mean, just...
Christopher Lloyd in that, too?
Christopher Lloyd was in that. Annie Kaufman, Judd...
Who's the boss was in it, right? Danza?
Yeah.
Danza?
I mean, like, it was a who's who list of the greatest actors. DeVito was fucking hilarious in that show.
So Vincent
Get on TV Land and find some episodes of Taxi.
Check that shit out. Now, in a major plot development,
What?
Vincent says, I've got documents that prove that my mom's still alive.
He's about to blow this thing wide open, Kevin.
So he goes, it's revealed that he's the one who stole those files from his orphanage file or whatever.
Makes sense.
He shows Julius this paperwork, like, from the government. It's basically a file saying, or a document saying that he's been, rejected for receiving aid because his mother's not dead. She just abandoned him.
Sucks.
Yeah, totally. The paperwork has an address for the mom in Los Angeles. It's like, there's no way that the secret government, like, shadowy group would leave all of this.
Or name him Benedict.
Exactly. Like, why would he have no last
Fucking name
name.
him Vincent Price before you name him Vincent Benedict.
Yeah, it'd be Vincent X or something. Vincent Z.
They wouldn't have given him a name. They would have dropped him off.
Or he's patient A and patient B.
They didn't drop him off with an affidavit saying this child's name is Vincent Benedict.
Like, there's no birth certificates involved in this birthing, I don't think.
Unless these scientists are fucking stupid, which maybe they are.
Maybe.
Anyway, I love Julius's reaction is to be like overjoyed at this development.
Yeah, he's like, oh my God, you know what this means? Like, our mom might still be alive.
Oh, cool.
Vincent is like, Vincent's got no interest in finding her. He's like, I don't know about your mother, Miss Perfect 1952, but my mother was a slut. And if she's still alive, I hope she's in a lot of pain.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's harsh.
He said,
but he's damaged.
She dumped me once. There's no way I'm going to give her a chance to do it again.
And I don't know how I would feel if I was in his shoes, but I could see you're super duper defensive and you got your walls up and your barriers.
Yeah, I would say after a life of dealing with the things that he's dealt with, either perpetrated by socioeconomic situation or his own personal choices, that he might not be inclined to go looking for someone that had abandoned him.
Sure. Especially not, I mean, he's lived his whole 35 years, or since he found out about this document, like thinking that basically his mom just didn't give a shit about him and threw him away with the trash. So, But Julius points out that, if they lied to us about her dying, they might have lied to her too about us dying. At that moment, the phone rings.
Who could it be?
It's the Clean brothers, I
Oh.
guess, saying that he better have their money by tomorrow or else. Vincent's like, or else what, you blimp? I don't even really get that, but I guess they're big guys.
Yeah.
So then they like shoot out the window, or they threw a grenade through it. It was weird what was happening.
I think it was like a shotgun blast,
like,
probably.
I feel like it was the window broke out, and then like just a big clump of debris came flying through the thing. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I think they shot out his windows.
They didn't nail the stunt, the effect rather.
Right. So these claims mean business.
They do.
The stakes are high. At this like ultra modern looking sort of office building, the same two men who dropped off the Cadillac at the parking deck are walking and talking.
Yeah.
They enter an office, and there's a mystery man from the parking deck is sitting in there waiting for them.
I fucking love this.
Give it to me.
Who are you? I'm Webster.
He's like so friendly.
I'm It just like his voice is so.
I'm Webster.
I'm Webster.
So the two men get upset because this guy Webster is already supposed to be on his way to Texas.
Right.
And they were never supposed to have a face-to-face.
Yeah, Webster's not surprised by it. He's like, yeah, I know.
I love the line. This one always sticks in my head, too. I got my driving gloves. I got my driving glasses. I got my driving hat. But I got no car.
It's great.
He's chewing scenery, this Webster.
He's making the most of his fuel. I like that all the bit actors in this movie, they're went for it. Yeah. Like Caruso and this guy.
It was a product, according to Schwarzenegger, of DeVito and them not taking salaries, that they were able to cast guys who maybe charged a little bit more in these smaller parts, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Right. So the dudes are like insisting that they left the car there. The merchandise was in the trunk. There was instructions on the cassette tape.
Yep.
The other man's like, nah, he just wants more money. Don't you see what's going on here? And then Webster explains, he's like, my reputation for being the best is because I always deliver the merchandise and I always come back with the money. Then the one guy comments that the parking deck attendant, Al, he's like, he remarked how much he liked the car.
Yeah.
And
it piques his interest.
Webster's eyebrows go up. He's like, the parking attendant. And he's like, yeah, we had these like Hawaiian shirts on. We were trying to look like tourists. I would say their attempts to look inconspicuous failed miserably. They looked very conspicuous. But Webster is like, you know what? It occurs to me that in over 20 years of business, none of my clients has ever seen my face. And they're like, well, I don't think that'd be a problem. Fucking Webster, man.
It's rough. He kills him in cold blood.
He produces the pistol with the silencer and takes him out.
I think the pistol with the silencer is one of the most sinister images of 1980s action cinema.
Yeah.
Nothing good. And especially if someone takes the time to take the silencer out and apply it. Put it on the gun. It's just
Jesus. Slowly unscrewing it when he's sitting there with Ellis.
And then puts it slowly down on the table. But like a silencer on a gun.
Oh, was it? No, was that when he was with Takagi?
Yeah.
I can't remember which time.
No, he
might have had it both times.
He took that's a good question. He shot Ellis without a silencer.
Yeah. I think he shot them both without. No, he might have had a silencer on when he killed Takagi. I don't know. We're gonna have to once we finish here.
Oh my god!
God!
I was about to say. I feel like we should do a whole series on that scene.
So now, presumably Webster was seen entering this place by a lot of people, unless he snuck in through a window or something. Maybe he did.
Man, I love Marshall Bell. He's so good in this.
He really is.
I mean, for the 10 minutes that he's in the thing, if that. But it's just like, I'm Webster.
I'm Webster. I got my driving glasses. I got my driving hat. But I got no car.
Oh, man.
So good.
He's good at playing this bad guy.
Dude, I'm ready to take a break and watch Die Hard.
I guess we should sign off then.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are ready for episode 3. We're going to get that queued up for you. In the meantime, go enjoy yourselves. Stay warm. My parents are having snow in Kentucky. My siblings have snow in Tennessee.
Shit.
My sister has snow in New York.
I want some. We're ready for our batch.
I was saying,
we're ready.
We get rain.
Well, we got to get the furnace fixed.
Nah.
Then bring it on.
Nah, we have a fireplace.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll be back.